they're just so shiny and... Oh, hey, let's do a roast your build video. Now, when I said that you guys weren't supposed to be submitting on Discord, I didn't know that there were so many Discord gremlins out there that there would be literally like 50 different builds. So we're gonna turn this episode and probably all future episodes into a top 10 only. I'm gonna talk a little bit about how I wanna do this later on because you guys are gonna get to vote on the ones that I roast. But again, we'll talk about that later in the video. Let's jump right into my favorite 10 builds from the recent submissions. And the first one comes from Cheshek. He submitted in the roaster kit, and I think I liked his kit, if I remember correctly. And this is his Double Eagle Noveske N4 GBBR. Here has a repro of a Geisley Super Precision mount, a Victo Optics S6 LPVO, a B5 Pistol Grip, and all that jazz. But what really draws me to this build is that bronze color. The slim, sleek look with that beautiful bronze and the massive LPVO up top with the suppressor just looks so cool in my opinion. I love how this thing all came together. And the fact that you have a couple black accents like the pistol grip, the B5 one, and the suppressor, and that little bit of black on the buffer tube mixed with all that beautiful bronze and kind of tan color is so neat to me. This is something that without a doubt I would like to run. But if I were to give any kind of critique, it's probably that I feel the optic sits a little bit too high. Otherwise, this thing is perfection, especially that silver barrel showing through, just super cool. This one's gonna get a 4.8 out of 5 for me. It's just something I would love to run, especially because it's gas blowback. The second build comes from Shogun, and this is not one of my favorites by a long shot, but it is so cursed that I had to include it in this video. This is his PKM build. He has an MCX style, that L-shaped stock. I don't know if it's actually an MCX style. I just hate them regardless, so I call them the MCX ones. I feel like that's where I see them most. And a massive suppressor, GBRS mount with some optic and PEC box up top. And I know the PKM is a heavy, front-heavy gun anyway. Like, I've held a Soviet RPD-style replica, and that thing was obnoxiously front-heavy. This thing must be one of the most front-heavy builds out there. That massive suppressor style with that big box mag sticking out, like, there's no shot this thing is comfortable and easy to run. What do you have to, like, tie sandbags to the back of your stock just to get it to weight evenly? Like, I don't even know how anyone would run this comfortably unless it's mounted. So you know what? I'm including it because I appreciate the uniqueness and the kind of curseness that went into this build. Shogun, I'm gonna give you a -5 out of 5 just because this thing is so cursed and so lopsided, it went off balance of the scale. An attempt at a crappy joke for me, but I like it because I don't like it. So Shogun, thanks for sending it in. The next build comes from Burr, and this is his MTW. And you know what? A standard M4, I can appreciate. And again, I'm not always a fan of those L-shaped MCX style stocks, but the brown on this is so freaking beautiful. You painted this brown and you've got such a classically matte color that it almost gives like a retro vibe and a futuristic vibe at the same time. I don't know if that's making any sense, but I love how this thing has the mix of that chocolatey brown with the black. It just looks so cool. Maybe it's because it's reminding me of like chocolate chip cookies. I don't know. I love this thing. I would personally change out the stock, but keep that brown paint job. And even then, I think it just works with their style of build. So I can't really hate on it too much. And I know it's an MTW, so this thing is ripping on the field without a doubt. I would love to run this thing. If I ever got the chance, I would hands down give this thing a go. Burr, 4.99 out of 5 for me. Just that stock throws me off, but it's 0.01 of a point. I love this thing. Great job on it. Thanks for sending it in. Meisley sends in a VFC gas blowback rifle M4A1, and this thing is absolutely stunning. It is the most chunky, futuristic, non-futuristic, retro modernized thing that's all retro accessories. I don't know if any of what I just said makes sense, but if you know what I mean, in that 90s style vibe, they tried to get so many things futuristic and ergonomic and effective and efficient, but really it ended up flipping on itself and being way too obnoxiously heavy and bulky, but it's just so cool nonetheless. You've got a Lone Star Ordnance grip on there, a Gen 1 Ready Mag, a John Mason Car 15 recoil pad, a Cherokee cheek riser, a KC Picatinny sling mount, Gangster grip. Is that one from G&B Solutions or Shekian, or did you make it yourself, or is it a real one? Which would be crazy impressive if it was. A Somo Pack 2, a 97 Bushnell hollow and shroud, and a SWAT 80 sling. Like, it doesn't get more retro than this. There's a guy on Instagram, I'm gonna put his name down below. He does these real builds and he does awesome like VHS style videos with them. And I love just watching them over and over and over. It's so cool. And this reminds me of that build perfectly. Meisley, this is an easy 5 out of 5 for me, with one exception. I wish this was a carry handle upper in that it was integrated. It's like an A2 style or something like that, but I can't really dock you points there. You built it off of an M4A1, so it's naturally gonna have that detachable upper rail. It still is really cool nonetheless. Still, I'm going to keep that 5 out of 5 because I love this thing. It's just, I'd love to have this on the wall behind me. The next build comes from Killer Dude, and this is his HK 416, which he rebuilt into an HK G95K. I feel like these are becoming slightly more common, but they're still incredibly challenging and expensive to build. Internally, you have a ton of accessories, but the externals are really where it matters here. And Clutch Precision, shout out to them. They've actually sponsored a video on this channel before. Go check them out. They have a ton of awesome accessories. It's almost sponsored by them with how many parts are there. You have an Artisan 14.5-inch G95K handguard, a Clutch Precision G95K grip, clutch charging handle, clutch suppressor, clutch selector switch, an Artisan barrel extension, Magpul AFG2, and a 3D printed Rheinmetall VTOL and mission light from Chintoka. You have the HK QD mount, a VTAC 2-point sling, and an Air Attack 45-degree backup sights. Dude, this thing is just absolutely beautiful. I'd love to build a multi-tarn kit if I could, and this would be the rifle I'd want to carry. You did a great job with this, and this is a clear 5 out of 5. The research, time, and money and effort you put into this is very apparent. So, Killer Dude, you killed it, dude. Good job. We're about halfway through, so let me take this minute to talk about two things. Number one, how do you get your submission into the next episode? And what's this voting system I was talking about? Admin Airsoft does a Wednesday drip day, so huge shout out to him for inspiring this method that I'm going to use now. On the Discord, when you guys submit, you're able to vote with any of the reaction buttons on your top 10 favorite. I'm going to go through, pick the top 10 during the voting period, and then those are the ones that I'm going to roast. So they could be absolutely cursed. You guys can make me roast only AKs, or we could talk about some of the actual coolest builds on there. The submission period is going to end November 28th, Black Friday. And this episode will come out in December. So if you guys want to get your submissions in and voted on, then submit it to the Discord, link in the description below, by November 28th. And also, all of these types of videos that I post, whenever I talk about any airsoft guns, they always get demonetized. So I've started a couple things, but the most I can ever ask you to do is just like and comment on this video. What do you think? Submit to the Discord below. That's the kind of community engagement that I want and that I really love to see from you guys. But if you ever want to support more, join the Patreon, join the YouTube memberships, especially the Patreon. You get tons of exclusive access to kit lists and files and things that I use personally, as well as on the upper tier, exclusive weekly videos that are vlog style, where I talk about all the behind the scenes stuff, things that I'm working on and projects that you guys don't get to see unless you're part of it. So go check it out if you want to. I'd appreciate any support that you guys can give. Let's get roasting the last 5 of this episode. 9-6 sends in his beloved Florida Crack Magic, and this is his Keltec RDB. I remember seeing this thing pop up on evike.com for sale, and I was like, that's it. That's the coolest bullpup I have ever seen. And looking at it again, I don't change my opinion on it. That is one of the sleekest, most modern, but also not modern. I don't know. Keltec does some weird kind of floppy fish designs, and this is a really cool one though. I love that OD green mixed with the black. I think that that works really well in the EOTech that you've got on top of the PEC and the AFG on the bottom. It gives kind of a very ergonomic feel. I can tell this is a comfortable gun to run. My only critique, and the only thing I personally would change, would be running a short mag on here. I know the long mag is definitely more effective capacity-wise, but a shorter mag I think would just help the sleekness and the look of this. It almost looked like that Tesla flamethrower thing. But I appreciate the bullpup design. I appreciate the modern sleek look and those colors. It just is a cool build, 9.6. So I'm going to give you a 6 or 7. I'm going to give you a 4.7 out of 5. This is a cool build. I would just probably swap that mag out personally. Drapo Blanc sends in an AK build. Yes, I included an AK build in the top 10 because for some reason I think it's unique and it looks cool, and I'd want to just hold it to try it. This is his AK build, which has some modern AK accessories like the optic and the upper rail from Zenetco. But what about that front handguard system? That honeycomb looks incredibly light. I feel like with so many modern AK builds, everything's very front heavy again. Unless you got super bulky left arms, something to kind of balance out that weight definitely helps. And I think having this honeycomb style system that looks light as a feather might be kind of cool. I don't know, I'd like to try it and see how it feels. But what really drew me in is that tan paint job. The worn paint just, that's where it's at for me on so many of these builds. Something that looks well loved and used, but thought through, I think that's what counts as a winner for me. So I'm going to give this one, because it's an AK and you made me put an AK build in the top 10 of my personal votes in this episode, I'm going to give it a 4.8 out of 5. Only because it's an AK and I'm just going to be mean about it. This is a cool build nonetheless. Drapo Blanc, thanks for sending it in. Monster GSO6 sends in his HK G3 build. And this thing is classic. This thing would absolutely thunk in Afghanistan. Look at that HK scope mount on there with that beautiful, is that a Colt scope or what brand is that scope? Let me know in the comments below. I don't remember seeing you describe it here, but with the rail on the front and the grip and the bipod, like this thing, I would just want to be posted up on a rooftop and absolutely taking shots with it. If this was a gas blowback, I think this would beautifully elevate this build. But regardless, I think it's a cool one nonetheless. I just have an affinity for HK stuff. The only thing I'm curious about is why you have a rubber band there. I don't see any light optic or laser system on here. So what is that function doing there? Like, is it just there for fun, for looks? But otherwise, nice build. 4.5 out of 5 for me, man. It's a cool one. Kestrel sends in his Specna Prime Block 2. And honestly, he doesn't give me any other details, but I know you've got a PEC box on there, you've got a Surefire style light, you've got an L-can, but what really made this build stand out to me was that paint job. This thing looks like it's a multicam and Swiss M90 or Swedish M90 cross. For the people who are camo nerds, don't roast me in the comments, I don't remember. I think it's Swedish. Or is it Finnish? I don't know. But this thing is all of that colorway, absolutely beautifully put together. It looks like you did a series of tan and black and green with ripped off pieces of tape. And dude, I would love to know the order and the process with which you did this, because this is a super cool paint job. Again, you put it next to a multicam tropic style build, and the colors that you chose are literally perfect. Like, you match that up so freaking well. So I like this build a lot, especially because of that paint job. Kestrel, great job on it, man. Let me know in the comments below what your process was. I'd love to know. And before we get to the last one, I have 2 honorable mentions. Maybe dishonorable mentions for some of them. But number 1, we have from OTH_WRLD, Offworld. He sends a Bugatti upgraded Army Armament R17 Gladiator. Now, I remember getting into Airsoft, I always thought the Glock builds were the super cool ones. All the cool high-speed guys had the ones with the RMR sticking out and the Surefire X300s. And you know what? This took me back to that exactly. I don't know, man. The stipple job on it, I think, is what makes me feel like this came directly from the mid-2010s when everyone wanted to do those cool Glock builds. I appreciate this. I like the aesthetic, and that's why it's got an honorable mention. And now from the dishonorable mention side of things, we have Maru, and they send in some Speedsoft builds. If you guys know Fitzy Goes Pew on Instagram, I make fun of him all the time whenever he posts Speedsoft stuff for sale. I love that guy. He's a super good friend of mine, but you know, I like to make fun of Speedsofters. This is not my playstyle, but if you, Maru, are as effective and lightweight and fast and efficient on the CQB field as these things look, then credit where credit is due. I can't hate on that. It's a cool play style and something that I probably would get absolutely wrecked in every time, but these guns just don't even look like Airsoft guns anymore. So it's a different aspect of the sport or hobby or whatever you want to call it. So honorable mention. And now the last build that is getting roasted or more complimented, because these are my favorites. It comes from Vince Nevermind, and this is his Mark 11 Mod Zero inspired SR25 build. Internals, you've got some upgrades in there, but the externals are really what we care for, and an SR25 is just very nice, very aesthetic, and especially with that long suppressor, I think the paint job on this is what really makes it though. It is worn in all the right places. Everywhere that you would see a real gun being ripped or banged against something is all worn off here, and I think you did that very well. Especially that suppressor, the black on the end of it on a tan, it shows that it kind of like burnt off or got kind of carbon scored or whatever. I like that a lot. Even though you have a replica JJ Airsoft scope and looks like a fake PEC box, maybe it's a functioning one, but you know, the accessories that are fake, even though you have like real KAC, don't really matter to me. It's really just a cool vibe and aesthetic overall, and something that you, again, want to post up on a rooftop with. It's very well built, and I'd love to see this thing run. Hopefully you can get the internals running a little bit smoother, as you mentioned, but you know, Vince Nevermind, I like it a lot. I'm going to give this one a 4.8 out of 5. But okay, so that kind of wraps up this episode of Roast Your Build. Again, if you want to get yours in the next video, send it in the Discord by November 28th. And if you want to see a build in there, roasted or complimented or whatever by me, vote on it. Only the top 10 are going to be included. Of course, with an honorable mention or 2 from me. You guys send in some weird builds. But that's coming out in December. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Thank you for sticking to the end. This is the Gear.Locker. Let's roast some more builds soon, and we'll check you in the next one. I did a lot of weird finger things there. I don't know what my deal is. I'm awkward on camera today.